I'm 10 years older than when I first started messing around up here. Uh, I go by Big H, the big cat, especially on X. I'm a big cat. I've been fighting probably since about 2014. And I'll tell you what, I laughed. I laughed when Orange Man Bad came down those escalator steps. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. You got to figure for a lot of us, and I tuned in. For a lot of us, the show that The Apprentice was just, it was entertaining. And, I grew up in South Jersey, so I knew all about, Orange Man Bad. Not that I even thought he was actually bad. I thought maybe he might have been bad at marriages or whatever. But there you go. That's good. That always helps. Somebody didn't know how to get in their car. That's just showing me right now. We fight. Do you know what you're doing? We fight. There we go. There we go. We fight so hard that even people with horns want to jump in and stop something from going. So I'm getting old now. I'm a young 55, but I feel different from 45. In the last decade, we have seen a lot. 2014 to 2024, we've seen a lot. But what we're really seeing is congestion. It's like America's chest cavities just filling up, and it's getting harder and harder to breathe. And we have folks, you know, I want to include myself, but the Dave Rubins of the world, Scott Adams, Tim Pool, Tucker, Elon, that's just naming a few. I mean, Lionel. I mean, all those people I've watched now for the last decade. I think I'm going to start climbing back to get to where I think what people that are in my mindset and heart for the country. I think I want to start fighting really hard and start from the bottom again. I was up to about 2,500 people on YouTube, and I'm down to 700. So I'm willing to take the punches again, work my way back. And any of my old friends from YouTube that are hopefully going to either join in or rewatch this, I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to see if you could drop a comment. But I figured I'd sit here for a minute and get acclimated again to what I want to do with the rest of my twilight. And I want to be that one, that 0.0001 person out of all of us that want America back again. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. I have so many ways, so many fights that sometimes I feel like I fight for too many things, too much of the time. And I'm not sure whether to focus on saving the children, saving America, fighting Marxism. You know, my main platform is absolutely voter ID. Um, and I'm going to be, once I start going live, I'll make sure I talk more about that. If you follow me on X, it's at ESES56, and you can read my front page there. But voter ID to me, and I'll get pushback on this, but voter ID to me will probably solve 70 to 90, anywhere from 70 to 90% of at least the political disruption. Because there's so many things happening in the FBI, CIA, Just to name a few, DOJ, Congress, White House. There's so many things that are corrupted. So many. Then you got teachers unions. And I always say this because I've talking to teachers, and when I tell them that, I'm really upset with the union, they sort of at first get taken aback by it, but when they realize I care about, the higher ups, the top of the pyramid, well then they settle down because they really. I'm not attacking teachers, and I'm not attacking unions. I'm attacking, you know, in my opinion and knowledge, it's one of the most evil entities that are killing our children's minds, along with TIKTOC. Now somebody else just set off a horn. That's what you get for sitting in your truck. And by the way, I'm sitting here because I'm waiting for people to come out from shopping. So I figured I'd, test run it. I got some things on. When I do a video, I'm gonna start going through my Twitter feed. I have some really good friends on Twitter, and I want to highlight them too when I bump into them on my Twitter feed because that's. Uh, but I also have people that I follow that put up great content, so I want to react to that too. So I'm going to have a Fessler feed. That's my last name, and I did today one of my first episodes of that. So this is more basically just to start getting the algorithm realizing I'm going to go live. I want to fight for what us Patriots want. It is Red Friday. Remember, everyone deployed. And I'll tell you what. Let me think of a. Okay, like one of the things that gets me completely mad, and I love sports. I love NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL. I'm a Philly fan, so I love all my Philly teams, and I like other teams too. But my heart's set in Philly. My whole family's from Philly, and I'm the only one from New Jersey. But when could you imagine? Now, I didn't have to do this because my children are grown, responsible. One's in college, one's about ready to graduate high school in a year, and I have two amazing children that know their patriotic civil duties, civic duties, even. Um, they are not woke. They are, in my opinion, with more help from my wife too. We feel like we did our job, and they're at least going to be successful and already successful. They're already good humans. But if I had to sit with my son at like say 8 years old, and we're either at the game, it was a game where LeBron James showed up, and we're all standing, putting our hands on our chest. Um, and this gentleman, while the country's big songs playing, and he just sits there on a front row bench and doesn't even stand. And I'm tired of the wokeness where if you criticize people for not standing, um, you're called a cultist because it was ingrained in us, in my childhood that you respect the flag. Well, it's not a piece of material. The flag is a symbol, and it can be a symbol for freedom. It can be a symbol for unity. It could be. It's the symbol of our country as a whole, the United States of America, united. But the thing that really, and a true patriot knows this, literally, moms and dads lost their children fighting for that flag. I don't care whether it was Vietnam, World War One, Korea, World War Two, Afghanistan. No matter what, no matter why that death happened, it was under the banner of that flag. and I'm done with that. I'm done with seeing people just sit there and I think I think I think King James ruined the NBA. I just saw some stuff on the NFL. I think uh, grabs viewers in the mid 20 millions, like 25 million plus or minus, and an NBA game gets anywhere from 2 to 4 million plus or minus, sometimes even under 2 million for airing a game. And I know you might say, well, there's only 17 games, 18 weeks of NFL, and there's 82 games in a season for NBA or I think it's 82, maybe more. But I don't know, man. For King James to be sitting, that's the type of stuff that I wouldn't want to have to. What am I going to say to my son or daughter other than it's a lack of respect? It's a hatred for this country that made him probably he might be a billionaire. I know he's a nine-figure millionaire, and for that man to just sit there breaks my heart. And if you haven't seen it, you can Google it. You can look it up on YouTube. A lot of people mad about it. He don't care. And then you throw distractions like the Jimmy Kimmel and the Aaron Rodgers. That's really just a distraction. Stuff like that's a distraction. Um, should it be battled out? It should be internet dads teach their children the right way. Internet dads. We need school dads. And nothing against women. First of all, nothing against women. I know we need great moms, and I know there's great moms, but it's time. It's time. That's pretty much what I put in the headline. It's time for father figures to make their entrance again. Whether you're black, white, if you're two men living together raising a child, and whether you're both going to be dads, like dad one, dad two. I don't know how they do it. I've heard that before. All right, step it up. You can definitely ask your brothers, your neighbors to become dads again. Good dads. Dads that love and protect and work hard for their family. Dads that work hard in the community. Um, I try my hardest. I have health problems where I'm doing more sort of like house husband stuff than I am at a full time job right now. But I try to make sure pressure's off at home. People come in, there's good dinner. If they need breakfast, good breakfast. If I have to fix something, I fix it. That type of stuff. If there's errands to do or pick people up, but I always try to bring them the truth. My children, even if they looked at me cockeyed, I still, and I think, to be honest, with the woke snake, the evil woke snake in this culture war, it's starting to eat its tail, and that's with DEI stuff like that. It's starting to eat its tail, and people that are in the middle, whether you're voters or not, people in the middle are starting to see that we can speak freely. Another thing with the dads now is make sure you can speak, or that you do speak to your children or your community because we're allowed. You know, we're allowed. We're allowed to speak. Hold the truth. Be with your spiritual leader, whether it's God, the sunlight. You know, if you like Rice Krispies and think there's a spirit in the Rice Krispies and it's a good spirit, do what you got to do. But I'm not a church goer, but I try to practice. There's a moral God in me or around me or that's watching me. Um, so I try to always, you know, keep it truthful. And dads are needed big time. I think it might have been Scott Adams a couple of years ago that I thought I heard him say it's time for internet dads. I don't think he speaks about it too much anymore, but I highly recommend Scott Adams' He's very balanced. He can be quirky. Anybody can be quirky, and, but if you need smart people, anybody I ever try to, for a young man, Tim Pool. I think, anybody I watch, I don't agree with 100%. Anybody I learn from, I try to, you know, take it in and sift it through. But, Dave Rubin, young fella. Uh, these are people that are, thank God they're out there, because we are so infiltrated with graduates of Marxism. And when I say that, that's probably why I'm angry with some of the teachers unions, because it took generations. And I'm sorry to ramble on. I'll try to keep more of a topic when I go live, but I'm just kind of trapping on tape right now a little bit of where my head and heart is. And if I promote anybody, I'm doing it with sheer vet them, I watch them, and if I give you a name to watch, all I ask, is to, yeah, put it this way: people can be so beaten for their team that it's even sometimes hard to talk to another Trumpster that probably doesn't like Vivek Ramaswamy. We had an Obama, and if Trump, I'm a Trump supporter, so that's who I'm voting for. So that'll get me canned off here right away. But that's changing, though. It is changing. But Vivek, he's somebody that he speaks my language, and most of the people I hang out with on the internet or in my community speak my language too. That's how we are, right? Well, I need to try to get to people that don't speak my language. So I always ask, give it 3 or 4 videos to watch somebody and listen. PDD, Patrick Bet Davis, he's phenomenal, phenomenal. He's a multi. He could be a billionaire if he would have stayed with what he was doing, but he sold his company, and now he's on their podcast. So please, by all means, join my team. I'm gonna try to go live. Hopefully once a day. I'm trying to get scheduled with some of my videos I do that are pointed, that have substance for a subject. Saving the children. This stuff with the Epstein thing. Hey, it's another distraction. They waited so long, but the real thing is these poor children. The fact that these poor children were taken advantage of. They're worried more about whether Trump's on there or Bill Clinton's on there, but nobody's talking about the children. And that breaks my heart too. Now, I want people held accountable, don't get me wrong, but remember, there's victims, many. I don't know if it's hundreds or thousands, but one is bad enough. 5 over 7 years is bad enough. Hundreds is evil. It's all evil. So, anywho, look, patriots lift up patriots, and dads lift up families, and we can do it together. And like I said, I'll try to get a little bit more. I think I'm ready to turn on the engines and start firing up. The 2024 elections coming, if you even have one. And I want to see our leaders fight for the children, the border, fight for transparency in our elections, fight for voter ID. I don't care what anybody says. You can have voter ID. I don't care what anybody says. You can vote one day. That's it. If you have mail in, as long as it's postmarked the day before or the day after, so that's 3 full days. The day of too. Day before, day of, day after. If it's in the mail, fine. Or maybe 4 days before the actual voting day, and anything after that, you were too late. Sorry. If you couldn't make it there to vote in person, but yet you couldn't put it in the mail within 4 or 5 days of voting, which the mail-in votes and all that, absentee ballots. I think the voting is their number one weapon that never gets checked. That they can just the uniparty can just streamline who they want to get it. Do you know how easy it would be for them to put Haley? I'm not voting for Nikki Haley, but if they want Haley to get in there, she'll get in. Look what they're doing just to get Donald Trump not in there. Look at what, and who knows what it'll take if they're not getting what they want right now with the amount of firepower that they put towards an individual to who I now consider a patriotic president. Um, what do you think they can do without voter ID, without transparency? You know, Mark Cuban, he sold his company, and I wonder if he's selling his company so that way, what if right in the last minute a little smear comes out about uh, the governor of California? So, you know, you take him out, Biden can't run because he keeps his pants. They don't have anybody else they can put in there anyway. So, what about Mark Cuban? Do you think he's gearing up to maybe be called at the last minute? I think Scott Adams talked about that one. That brought attention to my eyes. You know, I didn't think of that myself. That was I got to give credit where credit's due always. That's something that I think you know the man that created Dilbert came up with. He he's on top of stuff, man. Economics, you know, hypnotism, how people are affected by the news. He's pretty good that way. He knows a lot of stuff that way. So, like I said, I'm going to try to do my best to start getting a little bit more visual and getting myself out there, getting my beliefs out there, or what I'm fighting for out there. And I hope that if you rewatch this, you'll like, subscribe, share. I really need the help. And follow me on Twitter, this, that, and the other thing. I'll get myself together. Big Cat's alive and roaring. All right, guys. I will see you. I will see you on the other side.